Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at part 2 of the history of the PJ Patterson Highway. Now this highway, the PJ Patterson Highway, is a part of Highway 2000. It runs from Kingston to Maypen. And in part 1 we went through the process of how the contractor was selected. Now in this part 2 of the video, in this section, we're going to look about the actual building of the highway and why it was renamed the PJ Patterson Highway. Okay, so the French company Bogue was selected as the contractor for the highway. They were going to build the highway. So the arrangement with the Jamaican government was they would be given a concession to collect toll on the highway. So for the next 35 years after the completion date of the highway, TransJamaica Highway, which is the French company, the French contractors company, would collect the toll on the highway, would charge the people that use the highway a toll. And that money would then be used to repay for the cost of the highway. And so TransJamaica Highway was set up, and NROC was set up by the government. TransJamaica Highway was set up by the French company. And NROC issued a concession to TransJamaica Highway to collect toll on the road for the next 35 years. Now, after 35 years, the road will belong to the Jamaican government. And that was the arrangement that was put into place. So the French company eventually built the highway and they started to collect toll. And just so that you know, the concession didn't last 35 years. The Jamaican government bought out the French paid off the French company before the 35 years. Basically bought them out, and TransJamaica Highway is actually listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange now. The government sold shares in the highway. However, a toll is still being collected on the highway, but that's for another video. Okay, so now we're going to look at why the highway was renamed the PJ Patterson Highway. Now, when DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica, did the study and found that it was feasible and possible to build a highway through Jamaica, nobody took them serious. A lot of persons says it could not be done. It wasn't worth it. It was too expensive. And probably the most famous one was nobody's going to pay a toll to use the road in Jamaica. So you had a lot of skeptics. However, PJ Patterson, who was the Prime Minister of Jamaica at the time, was determined to build the highway. If it was later said if it wasn't for Mr. Patterson, the highway would not be built. He persisted. He made it a top priority of his administration. And it was because of his, how would you say now, his leadership that the highway was built. And remember, back then there were no highways like this in Jamaica. So this was, this highway is actually one of the largest foreign investments in Jamaica. No company had invested that kind of money to build a road in Jamaica, I should say. So Mr. Patterson was spearheading this effort, and he actually got it done. In 2015, the highway was renamed the PJ Patterson Highway, and that's the Kingston to Maypen leg, because there are, remember, Highway 2000 is two different projects, phase 1 and phase 2. And he was renamed. Portia Simpson Miller was the Prime Minister of Jamaica at the time, and she announced the renaming of the highway. And it's 44 kilometers of toll road. And Miss Simpson Miller stated, Mr. Patterson is most deserving of the honor, pointing out that that spearheading development of a modern highway network was an example of visionary leadership at its best. Remember, Mr. Patterson was the one who was pushing for this highway to be built when others said it could not be done, or it should not be done. Now, Mr. Samuda, Carl Samuda, was in the opposition in 2015 when the highway was being renamed. And he commented saying, renaming of the highway in Mr. Patterson's honor was no surprise. Mr. Patterson's decision to persevere with the highway development despite the skeptics was right. So the opposition at the time was against the building of the highway. They were just against it. And then Mr. Patterson replied, no one can ask for a greater privilege than to have been able to serve one's country and as leader of that country to help in advancing the welfare of its people. That was his comments when they renamed the highway in his honor. So the highway is up and running now. The Kingston to Maypen leg was built. The Maypen to Mandeville leg is under construction and should finish soon. It's not clear if that leg of the highway is still going to be called the PJ Patterson Highway, the Maypen to Mandeville leg, or they might rename that section and rename it another name. And the reason why it might not be is because the Kingston to Maypen leg was built by the French company. So TransJamaica Highway would collect that toll, read the concession agreement. But the Maypen to Mandeville leg is being built by China Harbour Engineering Company. It's a completely different company. This is a Chinese company. And so they would collect the toll through a different company name. So it's not clear what name the highway from Maypen to Mandeville will be. And also after that section is completed, they're going to build a highway from Mandeville to Montego Bay. And at that time, the Highway 2000 project would have been completed. Remember, the plan was to build a highway from Kingston to Montego Bay from day one. But because it was so expensive, it was decided to break it up into different sections. The Kingston to Ocho Rios leg, which is phase 2, is built and that's finished. So it's just the section from Mandeville to Montego Bay that's left to be built. And then Highway 2000, that project will be completed. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Also, leave your comments in the section below. Have a good day.